For us, it is India first. Whatever is in our interest, we will recalibrate our policy accordingly. As of now, there's hardly any foreign direct investment from China in India.
And it will stay that way?
It was the same 25 years, in the last 25 years, even when it was open. Not too much Chinese investment has come to India.
We actually have conceptually an agreement that we will do a bilateral trade agreement, that we will find a fix which will work for both of us, because we have our concerns too. And it's not an open-ended process, because that's often the frustration of trade negotiations. You know, we did 4 years of talking in the first Trump administration.
So you mentioned trade surplus, the word. That brings me as a German immediately to think about China. Because I think we have very similar problems at the moment. We have a huge trade deficit that we run with China. You have the same problem. We have a problem of massive overcapacities that are potentially flooding our markets, yours and ours. Yours is slightly better protected than ours at the moment, I would say, but it's going to come. There's a big wave there. And we have the question of FDIs, Chinese FDI in the country, and possibly a slightly split opinion about that in our respective business communities. Some think, oh, this is a huge opportunity, we want to capitalize on that, and some think, this is very dangerous and it's going to lead to deindustrialization and is going to lead to our companies running out of business. What is your take on the current situation, the normalization process that we're seeing? Is India going soft on China, or is India going tougher on China? Where is this heading?
India will protect its interests. For us, it is India first. Whatever is in our interest, we will recalibrate our policy accordingly. As of now, there's hardly any foreign direct investment from China in India.
And it will stay that way?
It was the same 25 years, in the last 25 years, even when it was open. Not too much Chinese investment has come to India, nor are we encouraging any significant investment coming in from China at all. At the moment, that is the policy. Our effort is to integrate our economies with the developed world who believe in fair play, who believe in honest business practices, and where we get an equal opportunity to do business and invest. Everything will be based on reciprocity. Everything will be based on mutual trust and mutual benefit. And therefore, I think I personally don't see any great disturbance, save and except for a short period of time. I think this reset that the world is going through is actually very good for the world. I said it the other day. In my humble view, the genesis of this entire problem goes back to the late 80s and mid 90s, when China was accepted in the World Trade Organization. And MFN benefits were given to China by all countries of the world collectively, with the desire and hope that we could trust them to behave better. Sadly, that never happened, and over the years, country after country and industrial sector after sector has realized how their practices have hurt businesses and economies. And I think the best endorsement of what India did in 2019, when we decided not to join the RCEP and stay out of this regional grouping, because we felt that the guiding principles on which free trade should work were not being respected, is today being vindicated by the current situation in the world.
I just want to come to the US for a second. And the last couple of days, there's been intense discussions about how do you put substance into trust, whether it's on AI, biopharma, nuclear, defense, and a range of other issues. But I think almost every big tech company and their captains sitting here and otherwise have brought to the fore the point that is there a risk in investing too much in trust given that the other T hovers? So can trust be trusted?
Look, I think it can, because even where the other T is concerned, do recall that, I mean, within a month of the change in administration, we actually have conceptually an agreement that we will do a bilateral trade agreement, that we will find a fix which will work for both of us, because we have our concerns too. And it's not an open-ended process, because that's often the frustration of trade negotiations. You know, we did 4 years of talking in the first Trump administration. You know, they have their view of us, and frankly, we have our view of them. The bottom line is that a deal didn't get done. So if you look at the EU, I mean, you know, often people say we've been negotiating for 23 years, which is not entirely true, because we had big blocks of time when nobody was even talking to somebody else. But they have tended to be very protracted processes. This time around, we are certainly geared up for a very high degree of, I would say, urgency. I mean, we see a window here. We want to seize that window. You know, so our trade teams are ready to, you know, they're really charged up, and we have really, when I look at the trade teams, I mean, it's not my direct remit, but we have a lot to do with each other. I mean, these are people very much on top of the game, very sort of, I would say, ambitious about what they want to achieve. So we are trying to, in each case, to get the other side to kind of speed it up. Now, this is normally a complaint in the past which used to be made about us, that we were the guys slowing it down. So it's actually today the other way around, and I think that urgency we are trying to really communicate on all three accounts. My sense is probably in terms of the other parties' response, at least so far, the US has been fairly quick to respond to whatever has been tabled. But, you know, we'll now have to see after April 2nd how that picks up.